Hello y'all, it's Our Healthy Farm back with another video. This one's a little bit different. So we came back to North Carolina where we used to live. We're visiting our parents for about a week, and we're checking out our old garden that we had. So right here is what we started with. We started with 2 raised beds. This is what got the interest going. And now these raised beds are completely filled out with blackberries, comfrey, flowering comfrey, pineapple sage, a bunch of different herbs, more comfrey and yarrow. All these are beneficial to the garden. Very beneficial. But this right here is what got us interested. After this, I asked my dad, hey, can we make a food forest in the backyard? They said, what's a food forest? Basically explained to them what it was, and they were all on board. So after that, this is what it came to. Pretty large area they let us use. And this was basically our first experimenting with growing fruit trees and herbs and vegetables all in the same place. Perennial vegetables. It's very amazing though. We got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fruit trees in here. We got a fig, we got 2 cherries, 2 pears, and 2 apples. So I'm just gonna take you guys on a little tour, show you what we got growing on. So around this entrance, we got loofah going everywhere. Flowers that my parents have planted to make it look beautiful. And then this elephant ear right here that we planted last year from a tuber. Thought it would die back in the winter because that's what it says, because we're here in zone 7. But there it is, about chest height, almost neck height, in North Carolina. A tropical, subtropical plant, just growing, no problem, survived the winter because of the thick amount of mulch we always use. Thick mulch. Oh yeah. And as you can see, there's a nice beautiful watermelon sitting right here. That'll be ready in a week or so when we're gone. But you see there's some tomatoes scattered in here. My parents planted those. Back there we got sunchokes, Jerusalem artichokes. And then all in here is more watermelon. All the watermelon in this garden came up from seed from last year. We planted 3 different varieties in the garden last year. And then over here we got pineapple mint taking over, catnip dying back, but the bees loved it, my dad said, and it'll reseed itself. But we're gonna come through and do a chop and drop, and I'll show you a before and after of this place when we do a chop and drop. Show you how hard back we cut everything. Right there, comfrey, that's getting cut all the way back. Grass getting cut. All this catnip will be cut. A lot of the ground covers will stay. We'll chop back some of these flowers to help them reseed. And these are old broccoli plants that ended up going to seed that have gotten torn up by these little, I don't know if you got them where you are, but they're called harlequin bugs. These things are nasty. They've made us never be able to grow brassicas successfully here in North Carolina. So we'll just chop those back and lay them on the ground, maybe around some fruit trees. And look at this beautiful little guild we got going on under this fruit tree. We got some flowers, we got some lemon balm. Beautiful lemon balm going to flower. I love the smell of lemon balm. I wish you could smell this. And then we got comfrey over there. That will get chopped and dropped as well. Here's a nice looking little cherry tree. And over there you can see we got our composter. Compost, people, compost. Some cosmos coming up over there. Going to here, more watermelons coming up. And look at this comfrey right here. My gosh. This is so big. There's going to be so much biomass. It's probably about 5 or 6 plants in here. And they're all taller than my waist. And they're really wide, as you can see. We're going to chop and drop them. And they can literally take probably 5 or 6 chop and drops in a year and come back to this full size again. Here in North Carolina. Another awesome thing about this garden is almost everything here has reseeded itself from last year. Like this pineapple sage right here. That pineapple sage is supposedly not be able to grow in North Carolina other than during the summer season because it's so hot. Came back from seed from last year. Supposedly it's a tropical plant. Pineapple sage. Smells so good. And over here, tomatillos coming up everywhere. Tomatillos from last year's of growing tomatillos. They just all fell on the ground, reseeded themselves. Over there we got some rhubarb. Not looking too great, but it's going. And right there is a nice elderberry cutting we got from one woof that we went on. The guy just gave us 2 nice cuttings of elderberry, stuck them in the ground, and there they go. We actually harvested about a little handful of berries this year already. Looking over here, we got a nice little bed of strawberries with some dill coming up from last year. But these strawberries, just in this little area, we planted probably 5 or 6 plants a year and a half ago. Now it's just abundance of strawberry plants. My parents had a nice harvest this spring, and we've been harvesting some here and there. As you can see, there's more of that broccoli that went to seed. More strawberries, lemon balm, comfrey, and this right here. A lot of people are not too big of fans of this. Oh, here real fast. There's a little strawberry I can pick. So good. Right here. A lot of people are not fans of this plant because if you touch it, which I'm not going to, it will sting you. It's called stinging nettle. The sting of this plant is actually very medicinal. So if you get stung by it, it will hurt, but it's beneficial to your skin. It actually helps with arthritis, it's said too. So these are beautiful squash plants that my parents actually planted from seed. Not too long ago, probably a month ago. Some over there too. And they've just been harvesting away. That's the awesome thing about this garden. All the spaces that are not filled out, the soil is just so good. For North Carolina soil, it is beautiful. Look at all that organic matter. So they can plant something anywhere, and they'll get a good harvest of it. No matter if it's tomatoes, like right here, or zucchini, whatever they want, which is awesome. Walking over here, there's a little cucumber. As you can see, we got a lot of work to do with this chop and drop. There's a bunch of weeds like this guy right here. Then there's some old plants that have gone to seed. And we're going to chop and drop all that stinging nettle in there. We're just going to have to come in with some long sleeves and some gloves so we don't frick ourselves up. And here's actually a little blueberry plant with a few blueberries on it. Look at that. About 5 blueberries. Beautiful. Moving on along, there's another cherry tree with, again, more comfrey around the base. And that comfrey will just get chopped and dropped right around that base of that tree. Cover some of that grass up. Going along over here. More strawberries. We got some thyme that came up from last year. There's a bunch of borage plants coming up. Strawberries galore. More pineapple sage. stinging nettle, asparagus patch right here, more comfrey, more strawberries. There's strawberries everywhere. More of those awesome garden balsam flowers is what they're called. These things are really cool because you go in here, grab the seed pods, and they literally explode. Kaboom! I love that. And just throw it around. Garden balsam. Some echinacea over there. With this garden, we really just tried to pack in as many beneficial flowers and plants as we could, while growing as many edibles as we could. There's a watermelon right there, a bunch of watermelon. And over here is pretty crazy. We've never successfully grown fennel in this garden, but here it is. One huge fennel plant. It obviously went to seed and is no good anymore, but it's so huge. Biggest fennel plant I've ever seen. Obviously strawberries growing all around it. And more loofah. There's a little rosemary right there. Alright, I'm going to cut out, and then 10 seconds, you'll see what's going to happen after we chop and drop. It'll be a nice before and after. Alright. Alright, we're back underneath the tree. Just here to show you how we chop and drop. We would never have chop and drop this way if it weren't for Matt with What's Ripening, showing us how he just savagely chops and drops everything. He uses most of his plants for biomass. So we're going to start doing that same thing. So right here, there was 3 big patches of comfrey. Took one swing of the machete, laid it down over my trees. You can see how thick that is. Like, it's literally probably my forearm, thick deep, around these trees. Just organic matter. Comfrey, broccoli, and next goes the stinging nettle. Be back in a sec to show you the finished product of chop and drop. Alright, so I'm back out here again, just later in the day. Earlier before, in that video, we have done a little bit of chop and drop before, but now I'm going to do a small tour after the chop and drop. Tell me what you notice, or what you like in the comment section. So here it is after we had chopped and dropped everything we think needed to be taken away. So we took down some of this catnip, but left some of it. So the flowers, because the bees love this plant, as you can see. Keep going on. Chopped and dropped a ton of comfrey. As you can see around all these trees, got it thick. Again over there. All through here was comfrey and stinging nettle, real tall. Biomass goes to the tree. All through here was nice and tall. All of it goes to the tree. Basically what we're doing here is just speeding the processes up that would happen anyways. So all these plants would naturally fall and die and feed the soil. But what we're doing is choosing which ones get taken out first to let the other plants grow up faster. Because there was a ton of comfrey over here growing and shadowing out these strawberries. So we took out that comfrey, fed the tree with it, sped up the process that would naturally happen, and cleaned it up while doing it. Making it look better too. And also restoring the pathways that we had originally set. But basically, we just made it nice and thick around every tree with comfrey and stinging nettle. We put some chop and drop in some other places that had bare soil. But the idea here again, cover your soil. Doesn't matter if you have mulch, any kind of leaf matter, organic matter, just cover it up. Build the soil, build that living life. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.